So here we have a program called Delightful Numbers, and it's a number whose digits add to a perfect square. I totally made that up for this problem that doesn't really exist, but we'll go with it. The overall concept is we have a variable that goes through the integers no matter what happens. So we're going to go through all the integers until we've met how many values we actually want, whose digits add to a perfect square. So let's say we wanted 7. Well, the integers here would stop at 27. If we only wanted 6, it would stop at 22, and so on. So we have one integer that advances no matter what by 1, and a count or an index that advances only if the criteria is met. Now here's what's given. And so 12 would return false and 45 would return true. 4 plus 5 is 9, and that's a perfect square. So we need a scanner, a choice, and we're going to do this while choice is not 0. So we're going to enter a number. We have next integer, and then we're going to print arrays.toString because we're going to return an array of values, an array of numbers, an array of these delightful numbers that I've called it. Now we're going to send the choice. Let's say we want 5 delightful numbers or 7 delightful numbers. So we're going to do this while the choice does not equal 0. Now here is the delightful number method. We're returning a Boolean value, true or false. We want a sum of the digits. We're going to do this while the number is greater than 0. And we're going to take off that last integer. Actually, we're going to grab the last integer. And here we're going to take off that last integer. And then we're going to see if the remainder of the sum, when we take the square root, is the remainder a decimal or not. If the remainder is a decimal, it's not a perfect square. If the remainder is 0, then we have that perfect square when we square root it. Here is array of numbers method, and we're going to return an array. Here is the heading. And here's creating the array. And these are the integers that are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all the way as long as we haven't met the count, or what I call the index. So this is counting how many delightful numbers we have. Now we want to keep doing this while the index is less than a number. So if we send 10, a value of 10 to number, we want to keep the index going until we get to an index of 10. And with an index of 10, that would be like the 11th number, because then we'd have 0 through 9, and we would have met the criteria that we want. If delightful number integers, so we send those individual integers to delightful number, to that method. Now, if it returns true, we'll put that number in the array. If it returns false, we're going to skip it. So if it's true, we're going to put the integer into the array. And then we're going to advance the index. So we just got one of those. It worked. We put it in the array, and we advance the index. Now, we're going to advance the integers by 1 because that's not part of the condition. We're going to advance that integer no matter what. Then we return list of numbers, and it all works just fine. Let's see if we can run the program. Here it is. We're going to run it. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's not a perfect square. 4 plus 5 is 9. That is a perfect square. So let's say we wanted 5, the first 5. There's the first 5. How about the first 20? There's the first 20. Or 30, or 40, or 50, and so on. And if we hit 0, the program ends.